7 brutal Jungian truths that rebuild your mind into something no one can break. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Every moment of your life is shaped by the unseen patterns of your own mind. The truth is, most people never rebuild their mental foundations. They decorate their cages instead of breaking them. But the 7 brutal Jungian truths you're about to discover will challenge your comfort zone and teach you how to rebuild your mind into something no one can break. So, as you watch this video, I invite you to ask yourself, which of these truths am I ready to face today? Share your reflections in the comments below. Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to awaken. Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom, where spiritual awakening meets the power of the mind. 1. Control the narrative. Power lies in perception. Reality is not ruled by truth, but by perception. In a world driven by appearances, people rarely respond to your intentions. They respond to how your energy makes them feel. That is why those who master the art of perception are never truly defeated. To be mentally unbreakable, you must learn to control your narrative, shape your image, and direct how others experience your presence. This isn't manipulation, it's self-mastery, the essence of spirituality turned into psychological strength. Spiritual awakening is not just about peace or kindness. It is about becoming conscious of the vibration you project and using that awareness to move through life with quiet power. You start by mastering your tone, your energy, and even your silence. Your silence can speak louder than your words, your composure louder than your explanations. The spiritually awakened know that over-explaining weakens the power of their truth. Every time you rush to justify yourself, you silently tell the world you doubt your own worth. So instead, you speak less and allow your energy to do the work. Your posture, your calmness, your gaze, these communicate confidence long before words can. People feel your inner authority before they understand it. In moments of misunderstanding, you don't chase approval or try to convince anyone of your goodness. You understand that perception shifts not through desperate words, but through consistent presence. You keep showing up with integrity, and over time, that steadiness reshapes how others see you. When your actions and your aura align, truth becomes undeniable. This is spiritual maturity, the realization that your energy is your first language, and the way you carry yourself tells the world how to treat you. As your consciousness deepens, you begin to see that reputation is not vanity, it's energetic protection. It is your invisible armor. When people sense strength, they tread carefully. When they sense uncertainty, they push boundaries. So you build a reputation not to impress, but to guard your peace. You refine your character until your calmness commands respect. You stop labeling yourself as unlucky or broken, because your subconscious and the universe listen to every word you say about yourself. Instead, you speak power, you breathe confidence, and you radiate certainty. Through this practice, you realize that perception is not a mask. It's a mirror reflecting your inner alignment. The more spiritually centered you are, the more effortlessly your outer world adapts to that truth. You begin to embody someone who no longer reacts, but responds with purpose. You pause before you speak, breathe before you answer, and let silence reveal the intentions of others. Every choice, every gesture, every word becomes deliberate. And in that calm awareness, you step into sovereignty. If you do not define yourself, the world will define you, and it will not be kind. The power lies in perception, and perception begins within. To rebuild your mind into something no one can break, you must own your story, guard your energy, and walk through life as if your presence itself is a statement of truth. That is where psychology meets spirituality, where the conscious mind becomes a temple, and your reputation becomes the light that no shadow can dim. Have you ever tried to control your own narrative instead of letting others define your story? If so, share how it changed your mindset in the comments below so we can all learn from your journey. If not, comment, "I will reclaim my power," to begin mastering your perception and rebuilding an unbreakable mind together. 2. Detach from emotion. Feel without falling. Emotions are powerful forces, but when you let them control you, they become invisible chains that keep you enslaved to the world. In spirituality and spiritual development, detachment from emotion is not about being numb. It's about being free. It means you no longer allow anger, fear, or sadness to dictate your actions or define your identity. When someone provokes you and you instantly react, they hold power over you. But when you can feel the emotion, pause, and respond with awareness, that is mastery. As Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." When you gain control over your emotions, you begin to rule your inner kingdom instead of being ruled by it. You stop living as a prisoner of temporary feelings and start living as the creator of your state of mind. To detach from emotion is not to suppress what you feel, but to rise above the chaos and observe it from a higher level of consciousness. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, but remaining untouched by its wind. That's the power of inner stability. You still feel anger, but you don't let it turn into destruction. You still feel fear, but you don't allow it to paralyze you. You still feel pain, but you don't let it define you. Emotional detachment gives you the ability to see clearly when everything around you is uncertain. It allows you to respond with wisdom rather than react with impulse. And in doing so, you begin to experience true freedom, the kind that no one can take away. This level of emotional control is a key part of spiritual development. It's the practice of transforming emotions into awareness and reaction into response. You start recognizing that every emotion carries a message. Anger teaches you where your boundaries are. Fear reveals where your faith is weak. Sadness opens your heart to empathy. When you understand this, emotions stop being your enemies and become your greatest teachers. You no longer run from them or fight them. You listen, learn, and let them pass through you without losing your center. That is when you truly step into emotional intelligence, when you can feel deeply without being consumed. Detachment also means you stop giving others the power to determine your peace. You no longer depend on external validation to feel complete. You stop chasing approval, affection, or recognition because your worth no longer comes from what others give, but from what you already are. In spirituality, this is called inner sovereignty, the moment you become untouchable, not because you don't care, but because you've learned how to care consciously. Life will still bring storms of rejection, betrayal, and disappointment, but you will move through them like a calm river, flowing, steady, and unbreakable. To feel without falling is the highest form of strength. It's when you cry, but do not collapse. When you love, but do not lose yourself. When you experience chaos, yet remain centered in peace. That's the essence of spiritual development. The art of mastering your inner world so that no external force can break it. When you learn to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them, you transcend the ordinary and step into true power. This is where your evolution begins, where emotion becomes energy, awareness becomes wisdom, and your mind becomes unshakable. 3. Expect betrayal. Trust strategy, not sympathy. Expect betrayal, but trust strategy, not sympathy. Carl Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people." And that is where true spiritual wisdom begins. Loyalty is never permanent. It shifts like the tides of human emotion, bound to change when fear, desire, or self-interest take control. People will promise loyalty when it serves them, but when the winds of circumstance shift, so do their hearts. Betrayal, then, is not a sign of evil. It is a reflection of human nature itself. When you stop seeing betrayal as cruelty and start seeing it as inevitability, you become unshakable. You no longer crumble under disappointment because you understand that not everyone is built to honor what they once swore. Depend not on promises, but on systems, on structure, on foresight, on a mind that plans rather than pleads. A person guided by strategy cannot be manipulated by emotion. They move through life with clarity, not attachment. When you anticipate betrayal, you do not become paranoid. You become prepared. You are no longer naive about the changing nature of human loyalty. And this awareness turns your pain into power. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending on others to determine your peace. You begin to protect your energy, not with walls of fear, but with boundaries of wisdom. Strategy becomes your shield when sympathy can no longer save you. The one who lives strategically doesn't react. They respond. They study patterns, understand motives, and make peace with the truth that people can only meet you at the level of their own consciousness. When you stop expecting perfection from imperfect beings, you gain the calmness of a philosopher. Betrayal loses its sting because you no longer build your worth on the shifting sands of others' approval. You start seeing life through the lens of understanding, not emotion. This is the power Jung called individuation, the moment you stop waiting for the world to stay consistent and instead become your own foundation. The more you expect inconsistency, the less chaos can touch you. The moment you accept that betrayal is part of life's pattern, you step into emotional freedom. You are not shocked when loyalty fades. You are steady, composed, and alert. Sun Tzu wrote, "In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity." When betrayal arrives, it becomes your teacher, not your enemy. It sharpens your awareness, deepens your discernment, and transforms your heart from fragile to fearless. You start realizing that trust is not about expecting others to never fail you. It's about knowing you can rebuild yourself every time they do. This is the essence of spiritual wisdom. To remain compassionate yet strategic, open yet untouchable. To understand that expecting betrayal doesn't make you cold, it makes you conscious. You begin to walk through life like a warrior with inner peace, guided not by sympathy, but by insight. Nothing can surprise or destroy you anymore because you've already accepted the truth of human nature. And when you master that truth, you rise beyond it. You become the calm mind in a chaotic world, a soul that no betrayal can ever break. Comment below, I trust strategy over sympathy, if you've learned to see betrayal as a lesson, not a loss. Let this truth remind you that real power lies in your ability to stay calm, think clearly, and move wisely. 4. Appear calm, think cold. Calmness under pressure is not just control, it's power disguised as grace. When chaos swirls and emotions flare, your ability to remain composed makes you untouchable. Others lose balance when they can't read your reactions, because unpredictability is power. The calm person commands the room not through noise, but through presence. Beneath that quiet exterior, your thoughts are deliberate, your awareness sharp, and your decisions strategic. You appear serene, yet your mind is calculating the landscape with the precision of a chess master. People fear what they cannot anticipate, and when you move with stillness and purpose, you become a mystery they can't manipulate. This isn't the coldness of detachment, but the warmth of discipline, a higher form of emotional intelligence born from spirituality and spiritual awakening. It's the art of being in control of yourself when life tests you the hardest. To appear calm and think cold means to master the pause between impulse and action. It's in that pause that your true power lives. When someone provokes you, silence becomes your sword and patience your armor. You no longer rush to defend your ego, because you understand that reaction feeds chaos, while composure starves it. Stillness is not inactivity, it's observation with intention. While others are consumed by emotion, you're studying patterns, anticipating outcomes, and choosing your next step with awareness. This is how leaders are made, through calm analysis, not frantic reaction. Your serenity intimidates those who expect drama, and your restraint exposes their lack of it. In this state of spiritual mastery, your calm becomes a mirror. When you refuse to match someone's chaos, they are forced to confront their own. This is why quiet confidence is dangerous. It reveals truth. When you remain unshaken, others' emotional storms dissolve in the presence of your stillness. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." Calmness is that inner awakening, the ability to stay conscious in situations where others sleepwalk through emotion. It's not suppression, it's transcendence. It's knowing that the person who angers you controls you, so you reclaim that control by choosing peace without passivity, strength without aggression. To live this way is to become an observer of your own mind. You notice thoughts, emotions, and impulses as they arise, but you don't serve them. You direct them. You are no longer the servant of your moods. You are their master. Every time you choose to breathe instead of react, you rebuild your mental architecture into something no one can break. Precision replaces reaction. Patience replaces panic. Peace replaces power struggles. And the paradox is that when you no longer need to prove your strength, everyone feels it. Calmness then becomes your spiritual armor, soft to the touch, but impenetrable in battle. So appear calm, think cold, move wisely, and let your quiet presence speak the language of true power. 5. Keep power in silence. Silence is control, and control is the foundation of true spiritual development. When you learn to remain silent, you begin to master yourself before attempting to master the world. The less you reveal, the more others fill in the gaps with their own fears, assumptions, and illusions about who you are. This is your hidden advantage. Your mystery becomes your armor. In a world where everyone speaks to be heard, silence becomes your power. You no longer waste your energy defending, explaining, or proving anything. Instead, your energy becomes centered, magnetic, and self-contained. As Carl Jung said, in all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Silence allows that secret order to rise within you. It is the unseen discipline that sharpens your awareness, strengthens your presence, and separates reaction from response. You begin to notice that words often dilute power, while silence concentrates it. Through silence, you observe more deeply and act more precisely. You start to see that people reveal themselves not through what they say, but through how they react to your quiet. When you stop speaking just to fill the space, you start listening with your spirit instead of your ego. You hear the subtle language of energy, the tension in a room, the intention behind words, the truth hidden beneath smiles. Silence gives you clarity that noise could never offer. It's where intuition speaks and where spiritual growth begins. You understand that not every battle requires your voice, and not every moment deserves your reaction. By staying silent, you remain calm, while others lose balance, and in that balance lies your strength. In spirituality, silence is not emptiness. It is awareness, refined into strength. It teaches you emotional discipline and inner authority. Your restraint makes you unpredictable. Your calm makes you intimidating. And your stillness makes you powerful. People who depend on chaos can't understand those who thrive in quiet. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving others control over your energy. You let your actions, your focus, and your presence speak instead. Silence forces others to confront themselves while you remain unreadable and unshaken. You realize that every unnecessary word is a leak in your power, and every moment of silence is a deposit into your spiritual strength. As you continue to walk this path, silence becomes your meditation, your weapon, and your shield. It allows you to preserve your peace while the world tries to provoke a reaction. You no longer chase validation or approval because you have found something greater control over your inner world. And once you have mastered silence, you have mastered yourself, because power is not loud, it is steady, patient, and deeply aware. This is the essence of spiritual development, learning that presence speaks louder than words, and that silence, when held with purpose, becomes the purest form of power. Leave a like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful insights like this. Remember, real strength grows in silence. Comment below. I choose calm over chaos. 6. Master the art of absence. Constant presence dilutes power, but strategic absence refines it into something magnetic and unforgettable. When you are always available, your energy becomes ordinary. But when you withdraw with intention, you create an atmosphere of mystery, curiosity, and reverence. People begin to think about you more vividly, to idealize you, to feel your absence like a silence between two powerful notes of music. As Carl Jung once said, in all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Your withdrawal is not disconnection. It's order restoring itself. It's you returning to your center to preserve your energy and rebuild your mind into something unshakable. When you step back from the noise, you allow your presence to grow in meaning. You are no longer just a person to be seen, but an experience to be remembered. Absence becomes a mirror that reflects truth. Who misses you? Who values you? And who only sought you for convenience? It filters loyalty and separates depth from superficiality. Those who are aligned with your essence will stay, while those who are drawn to your light for selfish reasons will fade away. In that space, you realize that your worth does not depend on constant validation, but on the strength of your own silence. Absence teaches you that sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not to speak, not to show up, but to let your stillness say everything. Carl Jung believed that individuation, becoming your true self, requires solitude, because when you retreat into yourself, you face the shadows that constant activity hides. This is where growth happens. By mastering absence, you reclaim your focus, sharpen your awareness, and reconnect with the quiet intelligence of your soul. You stop scattering your attention and begin to live deliberately. You transform from someone easily accessible to someone deeply respected. People sense your energy not through your presence, but through the weight of your absence, a quiet, invisible force that speaks of strength and self-control. Humans naturally desire what feels rare, and when you control your visibility, you create value without saying a word. When you reappear, your presence feels elevated, your words resonate deeper, and your energy carries the sacredness of restraint. Every appearance then becomes an event, not a routine. You teach others how to treat you by showing that your time, your focus, and your energy are not for everyone. They are earned through respect. And that is where real power lies, not in domination, but in discipline. Absence, when mastered, turns you from a fleeting figure into an idea, from noise into presence, from being seen into being felt. Your silence becomes your loudest expression, and your detachment your greatest attraction. Like a monk in the temple of his own soul, you learn that in spirituality and awakening, the energy you withhold is just as powerful as the energy you give. As Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." And it is through the sacred art of absence that you awaken to your own inner strength, calm, grounded, and unbreakable. 7. Rule your mind. Rule everything. All power begins within, and your mind is the throne from which every experience is ruled. When you command your thoughts, no betrayal, chaos, or failure can truly shake you, because you've built your foundation not on emotion, but on awareness and intention. Life will always test your mental fortress, but when you learn to discipline your mind like a kingdom, you rise above every storm that once broke you. To rule your mind is to understand that every thought is a soldier and every belief a law. If you don't lead them wisely, they will rebel and rule you instead. Guard this kingdom with awareness, focus, and logic, for they are the walls that protect your peace from being invaded by other people's opinions or your own fleeting feelings. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is the essence of spirituality and the beginning of a true spiritual awakening, realizing that nothing external truly controls you until you surrender your inner command. To master this power, you must replace emotion with intention. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means giving them purpose. When anger rises, turn it into clarity. When fear whispers, let it teach you courage. When sadness visits, allow it to cleanse and reveal what still needs healing. Your emotions are not enemies. They are messengers in your kingdom, guiding you towards self-mastery. Yet you, as the ruler, decide what stays and what goes. Every decision, every reaction, every word you speak is either an act of leadership or surrender. Most people allow their thoughts to lead them into chaos, reacting to every impulse. But those who awaken spiritually understand that silence is their power and discipline is their crown. When your inner world is in order, your outer world aligns naturally. The people you attract, the opportunities that appear, and even the challenges that arise all begin to reflect the level of order within your mind. A ruled mind becomes calm, deliberate, and strategic. It no longer rushes for validation, nor bends under pressure. It observes, decides, and acts with intention. You stop seeking control over others and instead master control over yourself. And that self-control radiates power, not dominance, but stability. Others will sense it and either rise to meet it or fall away from it, and both outcomes serve your growth. In spirituality, this is not about denial or detachment from the human experience. It's about transcending the chaos of unconscious reaction. The more you practice awareness, the stronger your inner throne becomes. The more you replace fear with faith, emotion with clarity, impulse with patience, the more unbreakable you grow. A ruled mind equals an unbreakable life, not because pain disappears, but because your identity no longer collapses under it. You become someone the world cannot manipulate because you understand the true battlefield is within. Once you conquer the mind, you've already conquered the world. To affirm your mastery over your own mind, make your declaration today. Comment below, "I rule my mind," to claim your inner power and remind others that true freedom begins within. In the end, these 7 brutal Jungian truths are not meant to break you. They're meant to rebuild you. They strip away illusions, strengthen your mind, and remind you that real power begins within. When you apply these truths daily, you don't just survive life's challenges, you transcend them. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos on self-mastery and transformation. Quantum manifestation isn't what you've been told. Carl Jung's hidden truth about creation. Reality is not merely what you see, it's what you believe. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In today's video, quantum manifestation isn't what you've been told. Carl Jung's hidden truth about creation. We're diving deep into what true creation really means beyond wishful thinking. It's not about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about aligning your vibration, your beliefs, and your inner energy with the reality you wish to experience. So as you listen, I want you to reflect. Are you creating from fear or from faith? Comment below with, "I create from my higher self," if you're ready to manifest consciously and live from a place of spiritual wisdom. 1. The illusion of time and effort. Traditional manifestation techniques, visualizing, scripting, and affirming, have long been seen as sacred rituals for creating the life we desire. Yet few realize that these very practices often reinforce separation rather than unity. When you visualize something as coming, you subtly declare that it is not yet here. When you affirm, I will receive, you unknowingly affirm lack. In truth, the universe does not respond to your words or your waiting. It responds to your alignment. The quantum field does not operate within the boundaries of time and effort. It flows through the timeless language of coherence, resonance, and energetic truth. In spirituality and spiritual awakening, you begin to see that reality is not something you chase, but something you harmonize with. The more you seek, the more you declare that you do not yet have. But when you embody what you desire, when your energy says, I am it, the universe mirrors that wholeness back to you effortlessly. Thinking that you must wait, strive, or earn your desires creates a vibration of absence. It's like standing before a mirror and expecting it to smile before you do. The quantum field, much like that mirror, reflects only what you are, not what you hope to become. When you vibrate with impatience or doubt, you create more waiting and more reasons to doubt. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, but grows in size." In the same way, the more you resist the present moment by believing fulfillment lies in the future, the more you expand the distance between who you are and what you want. Manifestation is not about pulling something out of thin air. It is about remembering that you and your desire are two sides of the same consciousness, separated only by belief. Every desire you hold already exists in another layer of reality. The quantum field is infinite, and every possibility already vibrates within it. You do not need to chase it. You only need to match its frequency. Coherence is the bridge between thought and form. When your heart and mind move in harmony, when your emotions and beliefs sing the same note, the field responds instantly. This is why alignment feels effortless. It's not about control, it's about surrender. The more you trust your inner coherence, the more time begins to dissolve, and manifestation becomes immediate, not because it suddenly appeared, but because you finally tuned in. Many people confuse effort with energy. They think repeating affirmations or spending countless hours visualizing will bend the universe to their will. But the universe bends only to authenticity. You cannot trick energy with words. You must feel it. The quantum field reads emotion, not language. When you feel whole, grateful, and connected, you send out the signal that you already have what you desire. And because the universe has no concept of waiting, it responds now. True manifestation is not about trying harder. It's about becoming quieter, quiet enough to hear your own vibration returning to you as reality. In the journey of spiritual awakening, you come to see that creation is not an act of effort, but of remembrance. You do not create abundance. You remember that abundance has always surrounded you. You do not manifest love. You awaken to the truth that love has never left you. The illusion of time collapses when you live from coherence, when you stop asking when and start embodying now. This is the hidden truth Carl Jung hinted at. The unconscious mind already holds every possibility, every version of you. When you bring that knowing into consciousness, fate transforms into choice, and creation becomes effortless. The quantum field is not testing your patience, it is waiting for your recognition. When you align with that recognition, the illusion of waiting ends, and reality begins to flow from within you, not to you. If you truly understand that time is an illusion and creation flows effortlessly from your consciousness, then type below, I create beyond time. 2. reality collapses through frequency, not force. Reality does not unfold gradually, it collapses in response to your frequency. This means you are not merely waiting for life to happen to you. You are continuously shaping it through the vibration you maintain. You don't attract reality, you select it. Every emotion you hold, every thought you repeat, is a form of communication with the quantum field. The universe listens not to your words, but to your energetic coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align in harmony, you stabilize a vibration so clear that reality collapses into form with speed and precision. This is why the more coherent your emotional frequency, the faster your intentions take shape. Your emotional state is the command center of creation. When your energy is scattered, when you oscillate between fear and faith, you send mixed signals to the field, and the collapse of potential into form becomes unstable. But when you hold a steady emotional tone, one of gratitude, love, clarity, or trust, you become a tuning fork, resonating with higher outcomes. You begin to notice how people respond differently, how opportunities flow more smoothly, and how the same world starts to mirror back a different version of itself. In this sense, spirituality is not about escaping reality. It is about refining your vibration so deeply that you start co-creating reality consciously rather than accidentally. The key to spiritual development lies in learning to hold coherence amid chaos. It's easy to feel aligned when things go your way, but mastery comes from maintaining emotional steadiness when external conditions test your faith. This is where energy meets discipline. Instead of reacting to fear or control, you practice attunement, breathing slowly, quieting your thoughts, and anchoring into the feeling of calm strength that already exists within you. The field does not respond to effort, it responds to frequency. The more you embody your desired state right now, the faster life reorganizes to reflect it. You can think of your inner world as a broadcasting station. Every thought, every emotion is a signal sent into the quantum sea. When your signal is filled with doubt or confusion, you tune yourself to experiences that reinforce that confusion. But when you consciously tune your frequency to clarity, abundance, or peace, life starts presenting circumstances that match it. Reality doesn't argue, it reflects. So, your true power lies not in forcing results, but in aligning your frequency with what you wish to experience. This is why pushing, striving, or trying to control outcomes only delays manifestation. Force disrupts the field. Coherence commands it. To live from this awareness, begin by observing your dominant vibration throughout the day. Before you act, pause and ask yourself, what signal am I sending right now? If your body feels tense or your thoughts spiral, you are out of sync. Use that moment to recalibrate, breathe deeply, soften your chest, and return to the vibration of faith or gratitude. Each time you do this, you strengthen your energetic consistency. Spirituality is not about perfection. It is about returning to alignment more quickly each time you lose it. Over time, this becomes your natural state, and creation becomes effortless. True manifestation, then, is not magic, it's physics. The quantum field mirrors the emotional frequency you live in, not the desires you merely think about. When your energy becomes coherent, you stop chasing and start allowing. Life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a graceful unfolding of what was already yours. This is the essence of spiritual development, learning to stabilize your inner world so completely that the outer world has no choice but to align with it. Reality collapses through frequency, not force. And when you understand this, creation itself becomes an act of inner harmony. 3. Emotion is the true language of creation. Emotion is the true language of creation because the universe does not listen to words or thoughts. It listens to the vibration of how you feel. The quantum field, which is the invisible matrix connecting all things, does not react to your affirmations or mental wishes. It responds to your emotional frequency. Your emotion is the energetic voltage that powers your signal to creation. When you truly feel the emotion of already having your desire, when gratitude, love, and certainty rise within you, that vibration instantly collapses the distance between you and what you seek. In that moment, the reality you imagine aligns with your emotional state, and the universe rearranges itself to match the energy you are sending out. Carl Jung, whose work continues to inspire modern spiritual wisdom, understood that emotion is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your emotions are the voice of the unconscious. They tell the universe what you truly believe beyond words. You can think positively all day, but if deep down you feel fear, doubt, or unworthiness, that is the signal you are transmitting. Emotion is the magnetic field that surrounds every thought, shaping how the quantum field interprets your reality. When you change how you feel, you change what you attract, because emotion transforms thought into energetic instruction. Imagine words as the design of your intention, but emotion as the electricity that brings that design to life. Without the emotional charge, your thoughts are just blueprints without energy to manifest. This is why spiritual wisdom emphasizes feeling over thinking. You can repeat, "I am abundant," 1,000 times, but if your heart feels lack, the universe receives the frequency of lack, not abundance. Only when you embody the emotion of abundance, when your body believes it's already true, does the quantum field respond and reflect that experience back to you. It is not about convincing the universe. It is about convincing your nervous system that your desire already exists. Carl Jung believed that suppressed emotions distort our energy and block the flow of creation. Unhealed pain, resentment, or guilt become static interference in your signal to the universe. To manifest consciously, you must clear the emotional noise by bringing awareness to what you feel and transforming it. This is why self-awareness and healing are vital in spiritual awakening. The energy of fear must be transmuted into trust. The emotion of lack must be replaced by gratitude, and resistance must give way to surrender. The moment your emotions harmonize with the frequency of what you desire, the universe begins to reorganize reality around your new vibration. Quantum manifestation is not about forcing or chasing outcomes. It is about becoming the emotional match to them. Everything is energy, and as Einstein once said, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. The quantum field mirrors your emotional state. Your thoughts set direction, but your emotions provide the momentum. Creation is not linear. It is vibrational. You are constantly broadcasting your inner world into the outer world, whether you realize it or not. The more you feel joy, gratitude, and inner peace, the more you align with realities that contain those same frequencies. This is the hidden truth Carl Jung revealed through his study of the psyche. Emotion is the language through which the soul speaks to the universe, and when your inner world changes, your outer world must follow. Stay connected with our community of spiritual seekers by subscribing to Spiritual Wisdom. Here, we explore the deeper layers of consciousness and uncover the truth behind creation through the lens of Carl Jung. 4. Embodiment over effort. The body is not just a vessel. It is the antenna of manifestation, the bridge between your consciousness and the quantum field of creation. In spirituality, every cell of your being vibrates with energy that communicates directly with the universe. When your mind envisions abundance, but your body still clings to fear, the signal becomes distorted, weak, and fragmented. You can't attract peace while your body holds tension, or summon love while your heart is armored by past wounds. True spiritual awakening begins when the body and mind are no longer in conflict, but move in harmony, sending out a pure frequency that mirrors what you wish to create. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." To make your desires real, you must bring them down from the realm of thought into the language of your nervous system, because the universe doesn't listen to words, it listens to energy. When you breathe deeply, walk with presence, and feel gratitude pulsing through your veins, you begin to broadcast a frequency of alignment. The body becomes the living proof of belief, the physical echo of your inner knowing. Every breath you take is a conversation with creation. Every movement you make either strengthens or weakens the signal you send out. That's why manifestation isn't about effort, it's about embodiment. You don't fake it until you make it. You feel it until it becomes real. You allow your nervous system to register safety, joy, abundance, and love as your natural state. The more your body feels what your mind imagines, the more real it becomes in the quantum field. You are not trying to attract something external. You are becoming the vibration of that thing within yourself. In spirituality, everything is frequency. If your body vibrates in fear, you'll meet fear. If it vibrates in love, you'll meet love. This is why spiritual awakening is not about escaping your body to reach higher dimensions. It's about descending into your body to embody the divine fully. When you are aware of how you breathe, how you stand, how your heart beats when you think of your dreams, you begin to shape reality from the inside out. You stop chasing. You start embodying. You no longer visualize abundance as a future event. You breathe it now. You move with its confidence. You rest in its certainty. Carl Jung believed that wholeness is not achieved by rejecting parts of ourselves, but by integrating them. The same principle applies to manifestation. Integration creates magnetism. When your thoughts, emotions, and body are united in one vibration, the universe recognizes it as truth. The body becomes the sacred instrument through which creation plays its symphony. You don't command reality, you harmonize with it. In that harmony, everything you seek begins to seek you, because you have become its living reflection. That is the secret behind true manifestation. Not effort, not repetition, but embodiment, the art of feeling it until your very being sings in tune with the universe. 5. Reverse manifesting and the pull of the future. You are not truly walking toward your future. The future is already collapsing into you. It is not a destination somewhere ahead, but a frequency waiting for your alignment. When your vibration rises to match that higher version of yourself, life stops feeling like a chase. Instead, it becomes a pull, an effortless attraction toward what already belongs to you. The universe moves faster than thought, and the moment your inner energy resonates with your desired reality, it begins to draw you in like gravity. This is not imagination. It is the quantum rhythm of creation that Carl Jung hinted at through his exploration of synchronicity, the mysterious way in which outer events mirror the hidden structure of the inner world. Spirituality teaches that your future self is not a stranger, but an expanded version of your consciousness, gently calling you home. This alignment cannot be forced through excitement or constant striving. Peace is what opens the door. Stillness, not movement, is what creates real speed. The moment your mind softens into silence, your energy field becomes coherent enough to communicate with the deeper intelligence of existence. The universe is not impressed by noise. It responds to frequency. That is why spiritual development is not about chasing success, wealth, or recognition, but about becoming still enough to hear the subtle vibration of your true path. You manifest not by doing more, but by being in harmony with what you already are. This harmony doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from inner clarity, from quiet confidence that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In quantum manifestation, that means the moment you bring awareness to the patterns hidden within your subconscious mind, you stop repeating the same future over and over again. The unseen forces of thought, emotion, and belief collapse into the visible field of matter through attention. The more conscious you become, the faster your reality rearranges itself to match your frequency. This is why spirituality and spiritual development require self-awareness. It is not the mind that manifests, but the consciousness behind it. The paradox is that surrender, not effort, accelerates creation. When you let go of chasing outcomes, you allow the magnetic current of destiny to pull you forward. What used to feel like resistance dissolves, and synchronicities appear where struggle once existed. In that state of inner peace, your energy no longer sends mixed signals to the universe. You stop trying to control the unfolding and start trusting the divine intelligence guiding it. The stiller you become, the faster everything moves, because now you are not opposing the flow. You are part of it. The lesson is timeless. The future is not out there waiting for you to catch it. It is already encoded within your being, waiting for you to remember. When you stop running, breathe deeply, and align your heart with the serenity of faith, the reality you long for begins to unfold naturally. The universe doesn't respond to your hurry. It responds to your harmony. Do you feel the pull of your future calling you? If you do, declare it boldly in the comments. I trust the universe is guiding me toward my destiny. 6. The paradox of acceleration. The paradox of acceleration reveals one of the most profound truths of spiritual wisdom. The harder you chase something, the further it slips away, and the more you try to force reality, the slower it responds. This is not merely philosophy, it's energetic law. When you chase, your frequency vibrates from lack, not creation. You are telling the universe, I don't have it, and that vibration keeps it out of reach. As Carl Jung said, what you resist not only persists, but grows in size. The more you struggle, the more resistance you build, and that resistance becomes the very wall between you and what you desire. The secret is not in acceleration, but in surrender, because surrender is not weakness, it is resonance. When you release control and fall into presence, you align with the frequency of coherence, and what once seemed distant begins to move towards you effortlessly. Coherence, not motion, is what collapses possibilities into form. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are scattered, the signal you send into the quantum field is distorted. You cannot manifest clarity from confusion or harmony from chaos. But when you align the heart and the mind into one rhythm, when your inner world hums in unity, creation responds instantly. The universe mirrors coherence because coherence is order, and order is the language of reality. You do not need to chase energy when you are the energy. Manifestation, in its truest form, is not an act of doing, it is an act of being. Carl Jung understood this through his exploration of the unconscious. He taught that the unconscious shapes our outer life until we bring it into awareness. Until you make the unconscious conscious, he said, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This means that the act of manifestation is not about attracting something new. It is about remembering who you already are. Spiritual wisdom teaches that the universe responds not to your words, but to your frequency. When you embody coherence, your entire being becomes a magnet for synchronicity. The external world reorganizes itself to reflect your inner state, and life begins to unfold with effortless precision. Surrender, then, is not giving up. It is giving in to the flow of existence. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes and begin to trust the rhythm of the universe. Presence becomes your fastest vehicle. Awareness becomes your bridge between thought and reality. The paradox is that stillness creates movement, and acceptance births change. When you stop grasping, you make space for grace. Your energy stops fighting against itself and begins to attract with ease. This is mastery, not the mastery of control, but the mastery of vibration. True quantum manifestation happens when your inner and outer worlds become one coherent field of awareness. It is not about forcing, proving, or rushing. It is about resonating, aligning, and allowing. You move not through effort, but through frequency. You realize that creation is not something you chase. It is something you tune into. The more you let go, the faster it comes. The less you control, the more you create. The path of spiritual wisdom, as Carl Jung hinted, is not in chasing light, but in becoming light itself. Not in seeking alignment, but in remembering that you already are the frequency the universe recognizes as truth. 7. The collapse moment. The collapse moment is not an ending. It is the quiet merging of desire and belief. The instant when your vibration no longer argues with your dream. In that moment, what you seek stops being something you chase and becomes something you naturally allow. Reality, obedient to your inner harmony, rearranges itself without struggle, like the universe taking a deep breath and exhaling alignment into your life. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, but grows in size." Resistance is the tension between who you think you are and what your soul knows you're meant to experience. When that resistance dissolves, the far becomes near. the impossible becomes obvious, and the unseen takes form in front of you. This is not magic. It's the physics of spirituality, the natural law of a mind that has stopped contradicting its own creation. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with fear, doubt, and old stories about why you cannot have what you want. Every step feels slow. Every goal seems miles away. But the moment you put that backpack down, when you stop defending your limitations, you realize the destination was always right beside you. The collapse moment is the dropping of that weight. It is the energetic click when your nervous system, thoughts, and soul all whisper the same truth. I am ready now. Reality rushes to meet you, not because it has changed, but because you finally have. In spirituality, this collapse represents the beginning of a new identity. It's not the universe changing its mind about you. It's you aligning your mind with the truth the universe has held all along. You are no longer vibrating at separation, but at unity. The moment your belief and desire become one frequency, your external world must echo that shift. Suddenly, people respond differently, doors open easily, and synchronicities multiply. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of coherence, proof that your inner and outer realities are now dancing to the same rhythm. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that the unconscious governs most of our lives until we bring it to light. The collapse moment is that illumination, the second you stop unconsciously pushing against your own intentions. It's the heart realizing that surrender is the highest form of control. To reach this, you do not need to try harder. You need to relax deeper. Notice where you say you believe in abundance, but still prepare for lack. Where you ask for love, but secretly fear rejection. Where you pray for peace, but nurture inner conflict. These are the vibrations that split your signal to the universe. And when you heal them, when you allow your thoughts, emotions, and identity to speak the same language, you create a resonance so pure that life can only respond with precision. The collapse moment is not about doing more, but about becoming still enough to feel the alignment that was always available. It is the alchemy of thought, emotion, and energy converging into form. When you reach this space, manifestation stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like remembering. You begin to understand that the universe was never testing you, it was tuning you. And each collapse is an initiation into higher awareness, a spiritual awakening that reveals how reality bends around belief. Every new level of consciousness invites another collapse, another timeline aligning with your highest potential. So when the next wave of resistance comes, greet it as a sign that another collapse is near. Breathe into it, honor it, and remind yourself that the universe is not withholding it, is organizing. The moment you stop contradicting your desire is the moment creation completes itself. Collapse is not destruction. It is birth. It is your soul crossing into a new dimension of truth, where what once felt far finally feels like home. To honor the power of your own awakening, take a moment to affirm it. Comment below, I rise through the collapse, to remind yourself and others that every breakdown is simply the doorway to a greater breakthrough. 8. Integration and stabilization. After the collapse of your old self, when everything you once identified with falls apart, the real process of spirituality begins. Integration is not about becoming something new, but about living as the version of yourself who already has what you've desired consistently, calmly and confidently. This is the stage where your spiritual development deepens, because it's no longer about visualizing or hoping, but about maintaining coherence and unshakable inner alignment between what you believe, how you feel, and the way you act. Without this coherence, the new timeline you've created can't hold. You may glimpse moments of transformation, but they'll fade unless your energy becomes stable enough to sustain them. To integrate is to stabilize your chosen frequency, to live in harmony with the vibration of what you've already called forth. You are not chasing the manifestation. You are remembering it. You are reuniting with the truth that you already carry the frequency of abundance, love, and peace within your own being. Carl Jung spoke of the sacred union between the conscious and the unconscious, the moment when your inner world and your outer reality merge into one. That's what true manifestation really is. It's not about reaching outward, but allowing the deeper self, the one who already knows, to guide the direction of your life effortlessly. In this stage, you stop reacting to life from fear, doubt, or impatience. You start responding from calm awareness. You no longer question whether it's working. You simply know. Coherence becomes your strength, your invisible power. Even when the outer world still reflects fragments of your old vibration, you hold your new frequency with quiet confidence. You trust the process because you understand that energy always precedes form. As your vibration stabilizes, your nervous system adjusts, your thoughts become clearer, and your emotions begin to reflect a deeper peace. That peace itself becomes the proof that your manifestation is real. Every time you choose stability over chaos, trust over panic, faith over resistance, you anchor your new reality more deeply. You realize that creation is not about effort or struggle. It's about remembrance. You are remembering your divine nature, the part of you that already exists beyond time and space. Manifestation, in its purest form, is not a pursuit, but a return to energetic truth. And so, each time you act, speak, and think from the version of you who already has it, you reinforce the coherence that keeps your new timeline alive. Integration is not a single event. It's a way of being. It is the daily decision to align with your higher self, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. It is the practice of holding your energy steady while the old dissolves. Through that steadiness, you master the art of spiritual development and the ability to remain centered no matter what life presents. And in that stillness, your new world is born, not through force, but through resonance, because what matches your frequency cannot help but find its way to you. In the end, quantum manifestation is not about forcing the universe to obey your will. It's about aligning your inner frequency with divine order. As Carl Jung reminded us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The true act of creation begins when your thoughts, emotions, and soul are in harmony with the greater intelligence of life itself. If this message from spiritual wisdom inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the mysteries of consciousness and creation.